Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to The Hunter and the Beast, where we are in a bit of a dire state, financially speaking. So our quick math at the end of the last episode indicated that giving up our capital to Mazdamundi immediately to regain trade access probably would not change our financial situation very much. So in order to not be negative on cash and thus taking tons of attrition damage every turn, we're just going to have to fire some units. We have too many things employed. How are we doing on public order? Oh, we're way north of where we need to be. We can drop some units out of this army and still maintain a large enough military presence bonus to keep this number positive. So let's just kick out like the lowest level ranged units. These guys are 144 gold per turn in upkeep, so this'll be enough to get us there.
Huntsman General.
Okay, cool. What was I doing with Nussbacher? Oh right, I was gonna meet Trace so that we can trade with them. Except they don't have a port, do they? Are these their only two settlements? Oh, I guess they're not on my list yet, right? Because we haven't formally met them. It sure looks like I'm pretty sure there's no settlement over here, so I don't think they have a port. So maybe it's not worth meeting them at all. Also worth noting that they're at war with some of the people that we're friends with. That's why we're seeing negative value for treaties with the other elves. So maybe we just don't go up there. Maybe it's not worth our time. We're not going to be able to trade with him anyway. What else would I do with him then? What does that mean his action is? Well, we could sail around looking for other trading partners. I'll tell you right now, we're not going to find anything really basically in the northern half of the map. Up here, it's going to be all Norskins, and you know how Norskins are. And then over here in the northwest corner, it's mostly Dark Elves. I don't think Dark Elves are going to get along with us, especially not now that we're basically diplomatically in bed with all of their enemies. So we could sail down here and see how the various Tomb King factions are getting along. If there are Tomb Kings up, we might be able to get some trade going with them. And I know, like, right now our trade contracts are not super valuable, and it might not seem like it's worth all this effort. But as soon as we start getting those trade resource buildings established over here in our new home, it's going to turn into a lot of money. Okay, so what else is new? We got to do something with you, except we really can't because I don't have any money. But we can have this guy come down here and try to keep an eye on the rest of their territory. I don't think they have a second army, because it really seems like they couldn't afford to. But just in case, right? And then, speaking of them not having the ability to hire any more troops, we haven't seen them recruit. They're just sitting here in this army formation. So if they were potentially mustering, it would probably be really important for us to run over here and siege Sildrator, stop them from getting new units, and start the siege thing up. But since we don't think they're getting any more powerful, I'm wondering if maybe the smart play isn't just to, like, work my way over there slowly while raiding, taking advantage of all that extra income, because we got to build up a little bit of cash somehow, just so that we have, like, enough resources to be able to build an economic building in Grey Rock Point in 3 turns, once that slot opens up. So how much? We need 50% movement to raid? Alright, let's just move in here a little bit. We're not really in any big hurry.
Time to move.
While you're raiding, you are immune to attrition damage, so your troops are sustaining themselves with all the stuff they're stealing. I don't know what supplies exactly there would be to steal from zombie pirates. I guess like a lot of rum, maybe very strong rum. And then it's incurring all kinds of penalties upon the province itself. And it's also making us actually pretty good money. Although, weren't we already at like plus 20? How is 20 plus 493 480? Okay, well, whatever. I mean, it's a positive number. Can't be too upset about it. What do we want to research next? We're not yet in a place where I think this makes sense. Eventually, this will be a good economic move. Income from settlement buildings, a little bit of a shame because they give very poor money. Honestly, local militia is not bad, although it would have been nice to get it earlier. That is definitely not a winner. I like Imperial Architects, but not enough to spend 12 turns researching it. Imperial University will give us the space to hire on a fire wizard. Although I guess we're about to lose our wizard recruitment building, probably. Yeah, maybe don't worry about this right now. And then we will get through all this stuff, because combustion agent is pretty good. We're definitely going to be recruiting some cool explosive units soon. Missile resistance and damage for horse ranged units. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is it, obviously. Plus 10% damage for all of our ranged. It's a total no-brainer. Okay, diplomatic missions. What do these do again? So plus 25 relations with men. There really are not a lot of human factions on the map here. This is really a lot better in the Mortal Empires campaign, the bigger map. The only people that this would really work on that we might care about is the New World colonies, and they're already cool with us. This gives you bonuses when fighting Greenskins, Skaven, and Lizardmen. That's basically all of the enemies that we are worried about, so this is probably a pretty high priority, you know, as soon as we have 7,000 gold. This is the undead guys. Honestly, I don't know that we're going to be fighting undead all that much more after we clean up this force, so this is probably past its usefulness. Plus relations with dwarves is pretty whatever. We don't really know a lot of dwarves. We will probably end up fighting dark elves to some degree, so maybe we'll want to keep an eye on that. I don't think there even are Bretonnian kingdoms on this map. I think this is only useful on the big map. And then Norska, Chaos, and Beastmen, yeah, we don't care about this. Okay, so only a couple of these are even useful. We're not missing out too much by not being able to buy them right away. I feel like we're in a good position. Also, we're getting the low funds notification despite the fact that our income is positive. Okay, well, that's weird. Is that everybody? I feel like there was something else that I was going to do. Nope, I don't know. Let's just push onward here. So we'll put together a couple of turns worth of raiding income as we creep towards Sildra Tor. We could use this to like pay for some hero actions beyond what we need for the economic building. I don't exactly remember what the price of the economic building is, but it's like below 1,000, right? At least for the first level. And then that'll have us actually positive, and we can build up toward upgrades on that. I have no idea how many turns Mazda Mundi's going to spend sieging our territory, but... Huh. Okay, well, I don't think this is a very good move on their part. I think we're going to absolutely crush them. Yeah, let's do this. I guess scout the terrain? Is there something about the terrain that they know that we don't? Nope, it's pretty much just a big open field.
Let's get this done. Yeah,
this seems like a terrible move on their part. You see there, the balance of power bar had this slightly in their favor. I think the AI got tricked by the auto-resolver, and sadly we will not be using the auto-resolver to resolve this battle. Okay, so we haven't fought a lot of zombie pirates. Let's talk about the things we need to watch out for here. Obviously, they have a mortar. We gotta care about that. These Morngul units are high damage, anti-infantry, and they're pretty fast, but they don't have a lot of armor, they don't have a lot of health, and they're large, so they're super easy to shoot. We can definitely do better on our Winds of Magic. They try to sustain themselves with that regeneration while in melee trait that undead units sometimes have. I don't think it should be a problem. We should be able to shoot them to pieces before they can really get anything done. Another thing that we do have to worry about a little bit that I saw they had is Bloated Corpses.
Missiles will fly.
And when I say a little bit, I mean a very little bit. We're going to just stretch our dudes as wide as possible directly in front of their deployment zone. The Bloated Corpses are like suicide explosive units. We really, really, really don't want to let them get close to us, but they don't have a lot of health. They're very easy to kill with archers. So we'll just, we'll pop them both before they can get in on us. It shouldn't be a problem. You guys are basically doing the right thing. Just get, like, way up on the line. Alright, so my plan here is shoot the Bloated Corpses and then start shooting the mortar crew immediately. We don't know exactly where they're going to set up, so that's why I tried to spread out as wide as possible. But with them having siege... I mean, you saw what it was like for only one army to have a siege weapon. Any amount of additional distance between us really benefits them. This thing where we get to start so many of our units right up against their line is actually super cool. Okay, so their siege crew is like dead center. All right, the one other thing that we do need to talk about quickly is this, the sirens. These are ethereal, ghostly melee units with their fancy magic ghost knives. The fact that they are ethereal means they have 75% physical resistance. It's not the end of the world. We definitely have some magic attacks. Her Arrow of Kurnus thing. Actually, all of her ammunition has the magical attack bonus, so she'll be able to tear them up. They're going to be pretty resistant to damage from our hunters, but it is worth noting that this whole unit of 60 figures has less than 5,000 total health, so you can sometimes just do enough damage through the physical resistance because they're so fragile. So we do need to keep an eye on those guys. They are pretty okay at killing stuff. Where are the bloated corpses? Okay, this is one of them. And the other one's all the way on that side. Okay, that should be pretty easy to deal with. You're not seeing the Morngulls because they have stalk. They are stealthed. Let's have, like, 3 units of hunters go in on this guy. And these 3 units of hunters go in on that guy. And y'all can help. Let's just get this part done as quickly as possible. I'm actually going to have her open the fight with an arrow. Let's do some magic damage. And then, obviously, we need the rest of our characters to get the hell up here as quickly as possible. It's kind of just true for everybody, right? Yeah, just run forward until battle is joined. We'll figure it all out later. We are going to get some sirens meleeing the archers a little bit here. We'll just persevere. We'll figure it out. How far away can he cast this? Oh, actually quite far. So you can see the bloated corpses are taking a ton of damage already. Yeah, wow, the range on this is impressive. Okay, we popped both of the corpses. Great. So now, what we have to do is figure out how we're going to get damage in on the mortars. I mean, this part is pretty straightforward. You're just going to run forward. Over here, we have that first group of Morngulls, and the melee are not particularly close. Alright, let's have the Paladin report to this side of the battle immediately. And go ahead and pop his speed boost. I really need you to run as fast as you possibly can. I don't really want to fall back, but we're just going to lose a lot of huntsmen if we don't. I was hoping that we'd be able to focus on the mortar crew a little bit more. It looks like we destroyed this bloated corpse in the middle of their handgun mob. If you're wondering why these guys are all torn up like that, I think that's what happened. And probably these huntsmen have to fall back. We're just going to, unfortunately, allow their mortars to do the thing they want to do. We'll try to get some damage in here. I'm going to have these guys stay put. We're going to rely on the elf to kill these sirens. Which means we got to pay a little bit of attention to the elf. Hey, elf. Maybe you want to actually do the thing? Gonna keep an eye on what's going on over here damage-wise. These are grenade throwers. You can see they are very effectively throwing grenades. Actually, you know what we can do while we're setting up here is we can throw out our first Shield of Thorns. It's a pretty large area that is affected by this. Okay, big weapon damage and physical damage resistance boost. Okay, you're going to get them, and we actually have almost killed their mortar crew already. That went faster than I thought it was going to. Here's their Morngull Hunter. By the way, in case you were curious what a Morngull was, it's this. It's basically, you know, the top half of a guy with this whole thing going on. They're actually very scary. So since we don't need our hero to put down the mortar crew, I think we're going to pop our speed potion and try to run away from the Morngull. He is upon us, but just keep running. Okay, let me try to extract these archers a little bit. These archers are getting absolutely torn to pieces. Alright, yeah, turn around, shoot Morgul's. Shoot Morgul's, be happy. This guy can have somebody plant their feet and get really good at shooting. Actually, this is probably the right target for that. And the Paladin... Yeah, Paladin just needs to get in there. Get in there and do damage. With the Spearmen in on the Morgul's, we should see them fall pretty quickly. You guys, I guess... You two run for that guy, you two run for this guy, and... You lot can try to back up. We're about to have... Oh, we're about to have stuff off cooldown, but we actually don't have enough Winds of Magic. We spent a little aggressively there. Okay, well the mortar crew is rapidly crumbling. Nice, they are dead. Looks like the elf is in fact getting the job done against these sirens. Alright. Let's get her out of melee mode. I think the situation's under control. They are rapidly crumbling. The Morgul's are going down. And our hero is having a terrible time fighting this thing. Get out of there. We gotta buy him some space. Marcus, run! Run away! Big buffs for you guys. Okay, he'll be fine. See if we can get that kill. Actually, could you make sure this gets finished? It sort of looks like those guys are going to survive at the moment, and that's unacceptable. Okay, as soon as they start taking hits in the back, all of a sudden their morale is gone. What do I want to do with this? I guess just shoot it at their gunnery white? Everything else seems to be pretty under control. Oh wow, they killed that guy already, huh? So let's have these spears go after the gunnery white. You two can get involved in that. The Paladin is slowly winning that battle. Alright, their Lord is straight up losing in combat with just some random guys. Buff those random guys. Okay. Their army has officially fallen apart. Honestly, we took more damage there than I thought we were going to. I don't think close victory is correct, but it was definitely closer. Yeah, Marcus, in particular, took a lot more damage there than I thought he was going to. But now, if our reading of the situation is correct, they don't have an army. So they can't really stop me from just running in and doing whatever I want, right? They have a 9-unit garrison in that city, so we'll run up, we'll build some siege towers, and we'll just rush them. I guess it still matters what kinds of units they have. They're immediately recruiting a new army. Yep, they have realized the error of their ways. Strategically speaking, that was a huge mistake. So if we put the city under siege while they're recruiting in there, you know, it stops the recruiting, and then we just have them pinned. They probably don't have the money to be running more than one lord at a time, so they probably just won't ever get any stronger after that. The gods are angry. The omens are ill. Oh, okay, one of these again. Well, this is not a great time to have a public order penalty, as much as I love growth. Maybe it's worth paying almost all of our money to get a public order bonus instead, because we are definitely going to have some public order issues. Okay, and our hostilities increased. We are actually 4 turns away from another care package. Unfortunately, we're having a hard time actually hiring these dudes. A Beastman horde has been rampaging across the Empire States. Okay. Beastmen. I do not like them. Well, we can divert funds for Averland. This is probably not actually a penalty, We're probably not going to do any recruiting in the next 5 turns. We can keep working toward this one, which I do like. An instant increase in the hostility level would drop us troops right away, which we don't actually benefit from because we couldn't afford to hire them anyway. And then it would reset our hostility level and we would start getting troops in slower. I think we want to like keep it around 3 or 4 skulls for a little while here. So let's not do this, even though I do like working with those guys. And then diverted funds is not a big deal, but I think this diverted funds is some negative, while this one is not negative at all, so let's take this one. And I don't think we've helped either of those factions before. Alright, we're killing people. Marcus Wolfhard is now very resistant to fire, which I don't think helps us at all. It's like not a meaningful bonus. What do you want to pick up next? I mean, big weapon strength bonus, percentage bonuses on stats that are, you know, in the several hundreds is pretty good. Hit points, leadership, or melee defense. Oh, okay. I mean, you know how I feel about defense. I like defense, which is why we have to focus on offense, because as everyone knows, a good offense is the best everything. This seems incredibly powerful. A skill that can just lock enemies in place and kill their missile resistance. And then... oh, you have access to ballistics calibration. All allies within 40 meters shoot a lot faster and better. Seems like a no-brainer.
Fearless. Agreed.
So I mean, our overall health level is not amazing, but I think this is a situation where we gotta strike while the iron's hot.
Ready yourself.
Not die again.
Oh, that's a shame. Celostra respawned. She is a powerful wizard, and just generally a terrifying combatant. But we will persevere. Let's build ourselves some siege towers. We'll just go over the walls. They do have some good melee units, actually. I was gonna say, the Vampire Coast does not have a lot of good melee, but Depth Guard will totally hold the wall. So maybe we want rams instead to just go through the gate? Nah, let's do the siege towers. If we can successfully take even a portion of the wall, it stands to be very powerful for us. Because we can get archers up on the wall, and then we can do all kinds of heinous stuff. They have a hero who we really cannot afford to assassinate. One thing I suppose we could do is we could combine some of our units to try to make space in the army and just roll Hertvig in there. I mean, if he's not going to be doing anything else. Let's mash these 2 units together and then fold the rest of these guys into that unit. And yeah, you go and help with the siege. Okay, I think that's a reasonable use of him. And Nussbacher just needs to sail like over to here, ideally. Oh, you know what? I think there is a Bretonnian faction off the north coast of this area. I think I remember that from our Tomb Kings Let's Play. All right, we're not in amazing shape, but I'm pretty happy about this. I think we're going to be able to wipe them out. And then we'll have a nice wide economic base with a lot of trade goods that we can use to finance finishing off that second army and then pushing on Hexawatl, especially if we can do it while all of their forces are still to the south of us. And take advantage of their hyper-aggressiveness. And gee, I sure hope the New World colonies can hold out against all of this noise. I mean, they have a lot of armies. Hopefully they will.
Shall be a warning.
Is she attacking me in the... She's actually, like, she's sallying out of the settlement to attack us.
For the Empire!
Well, this is fantastic. Like, the walls are a huge advantage. Maybe the pirate factions are all coded... I haven't actually played a lot of games against the Vampire Coast. Maybe all the pirate factions are coded to be insanely aggressive. It's just like a personality thing. This definitely works out for us. So Celostra is super powerful, but she's not that great when she's the only unit in the army, and her allies are not going to arrive before we kill her. because we're going to do the same thing we did last time, where we just put all of our huntsmen right up against the white line. Yeah, gamble a little bit here. Okay, that's better. I think we lost some reserve bar, but I'm happy to see 22 in there. So again, let's just spread out thin. We don't actually know where in the box she'll be. She could start herself at the back, right in front of her reinforcements, which is what she'll do if she's smart. But I don't think there's any reason necessarily to assume that she will be smart. And once again, just spread you guys out thin and get ready to run. Looks like these dudes are right in front of a rock or something. And you four, just try to be ready. Try to be ready to participate. Okay, what is the range on this thing? Incredibly short. That said, this is pretty straightforward. And then everybody else, commit, and we'll figure it out later. Actually, let me make sure we're moving past all the rocks. Oh wow, she wants to come toward us, huh? So she is ethereal. She also has tremendous physical resist. But even 25% of this number of arrows is a pretty terrifying amount of damage. Oh, she is casting spells on us. I don't think it matters much. Yeah, the net has worn off and she's allowed to move away now, but I think the damage is done. She's already crumbling, in fact. Pretty good start. How much ammo did that take? Honestly, that's like 10% of our total arrows we had to use to bring her down. You can see how if we had to fight her at the same time as an actual army, that could have complicated things. Alright, just get into position for the second phase. What are you guys shooting at? Is that where she died? Are they like shooting at the ghost of a ghost? I don't really know what we want to do with these guys. So the Witch Hunter, this is the first time we're seeing him in proper combat. The Witch Hunter is a hybrid, like he's good in melee and he's good in ranged. He works really well as a skirmisher, just like running around the backside of enemy units. Alright, so these Depth Guard we do have to watch out for. They're actually fairly tough. That said, he was the one who exposed himself first, so he is the one who is really going to suffer. Once we're in position and firing, we'll start using our buffs.
Yes, General.
Pirate magic. Okay. Buffs up. Should probably also have our shooting heroes in position to be shooting. Yeah, you can see how this is not really working out for them. Ooh, they have flyers. Let's maybe do something about that. Let's make that no longer true. Paladin probably needs to be a little bit further up, as does the wizard. I can't believe they actually made it to my line. They probably shouldn't let me do that. They should resist a little bit more. Oh, I should have... Hold on. Can we catch any of the incoming melee troops with this thing? No, we're pretty close. We might be able to stop the Depth Guard from reaching our line. Yeah, I should have used that on incoming melee troops to keep them out of the fight. So Depth Guard are fairly scary. They have a lot of the same problems, a lot of the high-end Vampire Coast melee units are just not particularly tough, and they suffer a lot from not being particularly tough. Did we... hold on, did we completely annihilate? We did. The flyers are just gone. That didn't take long. Alright, yeah, definitely focus on those guys next. And it looks to me like our dwarf here, who unfortunately has to fire, has a rifle rather than a bow, and so has to have direct line of sight to his enemies, probably isn't going to be able to hit their gunnery white, so I'm not really sure what to have him do. I guess let's have him move forward. Let's see if we can find a spot where he can contribute. Okay, we did in fact stop those guys in their tracks. Let's just get them all flanked and try to break their morale as hard as possible. Remember, morale damage is real damage against enemies like this. Actually, you know, I should probably get over here and give my units this buff. Let's ruin their stats. He has accused them of some sort of heresy, and for some reason they care about that? It doesn't seem like they would. Actually, the paladin should probably get over here. Get over here a little bit faster. Oh wait, these are... yeah, that's fine. We're not going to get too much friendly fire there. Trying to make sure that we have a clean shot. Okay, their gunners are holding up remarkably well, considering that they're extremely non-melee troops. This guy's going to have to get like all the way over to here before he is going to be able to actually shoot anything. Alright, second in a series of completely insane tactical moves from Celostra Dirfam, which means that we've basically won this war already. She's gonna do this thing a couple more times where she summons in a new lord and tries to recruit an army, and we're probably going to be able to move fast enough to stop her from getting any recruiting done every single time. Wait a minute, what happened here? Why are there 12... Who survived? They usually are not survivors in an undead battle. Maybe it's because one of the forces is a garrison. Maybe garrison units don't get completely annihilated. Oh, it was the bats. The bats carrying the corpses. Okay, yeah. I guess that makes sense. The bats panic and run away rather than just falling apart. This is pretty bad for them, though. A rebellion army spawned, which I think we are going to have to deal with. Yes, you are allowed to walk your troops through my land. That's fine. We should check in on them and see who they're at war with. We may have common enemies and thus common cause. I'm still doing this thing, which is very annoying. Yeah, a lot of the AIs, it feels like, are behaving really weirdly. If you're these orcs, why do you move a single army up? Sure, whatever. I feel like maybe it should be the case that forces that are that distant from you just like shouldn't be able to talk to you. Oh yeah, whenever you defeat a legendary lord, you get a cool trait. So Marcus Wolfheart has a higher miscast chance, pretty okay since he doesn't have any spells. And then his army gets lots of extra wins, and the enemy army loses lots of wins. Cool. That's actually like a really useful and purely positive trait, since he doesn't have the ability to cast. And we're unlocking even more really cool units that we cannot afford to hire.
Destroy.
We'll get there. We'll have a functional economy at some point. Grand Hunts Marshal gives everyone immune to psychology and Vanguard. I mean, yeah, that's great. That's extremely great.
Loyal or not, We'd better fight.
And so we have life bloom and shield. What do we want here? We probably don't need to keep buffing shield up. It doesn't increase the toughness that it gives your troops, just gives them more weapon damage, which is it's pretty whatever. Yeah, healing is probably a good idea, especially since our force is walking around pretty wounded. With some schools of magic, I think it makes a lot of sense to focus in on one spell and just make it as good as possible. When I use a Jade Wizard, I often like to fan out and get all the spells so that you can get as many casts off as possible, and thus have Life Bloom constantly rolling.
I've got your backs, so watch mine.
Do we have the ability to just attack this turn? Yeah, we do. We finished one of the siege towers.
Fight with clout, comrades.
And you know what? We probably could have auto-resolved that. Well, actually, an auto-resolve might have killed some of our units because the game is super weird about siege auto-resolves. It probably is a good idea for us to manually resolve this, but this should be completely trivial. They don't even have any ground units to take control of the towers. We will take probably literally no damage. And then once these guys are down, I'm expecting that they will just start putting together an army. We don't have to strategize here. Let's just have all of the archers get up on the walls. Have all of you guys get up on the walls. We built these siege towers, but I'm not even going to use them. You can go do that thing. So regardless of whether or not you have siege weaponry, there goes my literally no damage. Well, why don't you heal those guys? Hold on, I can't. There we go. So you can see here, this line indicates the maximum amount they can be healed up to. It does not. The game does not allow you to heal units past the amount of health they had at the beginning of the fight. So yeah, whether or not you build siege stuff, all of your infantry units carry ladders into battle. So you just climb the big old ladders. I don't know where we're keeping these very extremely large ladders. But we'll just scale up here, and then we'll run down and shoot those enemies to death. They do have, I mean, they're carrying, in case it was not clear what these guys are, they're bats carrying zombie dudes who have bombs. So in theory, they could attack us, but they'd have to endure an awful lot of fire just to get close enough. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Could we maybe speed up the process of actually shooting the enemies? Maybe they totally are going to get close enough. It doesn't seem like my forces have much interest in getting the job done here. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting to see some more fire. This is actually a smart move on their part. Not engaging in ranged combat, just getting down and trying to melee my huntsmen to death. Unfortunately for them, huntsmen are like reasonably good melee combatants. Not as good as an actual melee unit, but certainly better than archers usually are. Okay, a tremendous waste of everyone's time later. We are the champions. It is possible, because there's quite a bit of distance between us and the third settlement in this region, it is possible they could put together an army over there. They could hire a new lord there and have him start recruiting, and maybe actually get a couple of turns of hiring off before we reach them. So this might not be the last battle. Ooh, wow. We could sack this city for 13,000 gold. We should probably do that. So sacking the city will not conquer it, but it will damage all the buildings. It'll give us a ton of money. We could loot and occupy for some of the money and still... If we don't occupy it, they're going to get some replenishment on their garrison, and I think we do want to take it over, but we'll loot it. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I definitely wanted to take it over because we want to get like proper replenishment this turn and everything. Oh, and we capped our hostility anyway. Well, shoot. Alright, how many steam tanks? How many steam tanks is too many? How many do I want to run? Honestly, I think maybe we take artillery this time instead. It is really nice to have a rocket battery. They're very powerful. And our aggression has caused hostility to rise. Oh, we had additional reinforcements queued up. Okay, we have a lot of stuff in the summonable pool. We just have to get the money. We've achieved victory over the Vampire Coast enough times for our whole army to be better at fighting them, which is neat. Actually, this one, that's interesting. This one gives you a trait that works even when you're not fighting the Vampire Coast, although you don't really engage in a lot of naval battles generally. What do we want to do here? It might be a good idea to get the Sunder now. Yeah, let's do that. So Marcus can lead the attack, buff everybody else's damage up. That seems like a smart move. And we finished getting piercing shots. That's also very good.
Loyal or not, they'd better fight.
What do we want to do with you? Oh, we probably want to finish Cleanse Corruption, right? We really, really need to get the corruption levels down here. So you can see we've torn up the settlement a little bit. We damaged this, so we're gonna have to repair it, but that's not it's not going to cost us nearly the amount of money we gained by doing it. And then what do we want to build here? Okay, the orchards are trade goods and also public order, because you know what drunk people are? Extremely orderly. Let's definitely do that. We gain 50 income per turn and 50% more marble slabs, which does increase our trade income. Yeah, we have enough money to be able to afford to do that. And I don't think we're going to hire on any fancy units just yet. We're going to wait until we have a little bit more income going.
Voyaging.
Well, I have to say, I think this is going rather well at this point. I mean, partially thanks to our enemies choosing to be bad. Really, though, this is one of the most important skills you can have in life. The ability to select incompetent enemies. It just makes you so much better at so many things. And the Lizardmen are still just sieging the temple. I really thought they would have attacked by now. They're building a lot of siege towers. And then they're going to have to repeat this process all over again for Chotek, because Chotek has proper walls, so we're probably not going to see Mazdamundi doing anything other than uselessly sieging minor settlements for, I don't know, like 10 turns or something. That's actually pretty exciting, because it means that we could push down and take Hexawatl, potentially. I guess, I don't know, we might not have enough time. We'll try to move through the rest of this stuff quickly. I don't even know who Clan Gnaw is. Some kind of minor Skaven force is just sending units everywhere. Oh, that's a problem. You know, I feel like we shirked our duty here. We were supposed to be the ones keeping the Blue Vipers in check. Well, we'll have to get down there and make it happen.
Spirit Master, headway.
We've encountered even more pirates, hooray. Okay, yes, there totally is a Bretonnian army down here. These guys look like they are unlikely to trade with me. Who are they at war with? Just some Skaven? Alright, well, we'll keep an eye on them. Maybe we'll be able to get some trade going. Individual trade contracts are still pretty low in value for us. Okay. We should probably put away this rebel army, and then, man, I really would love to just sit down and replenish a little bit more. We can't, though. We don't have the time for that. This looks pretty auto-resolvable. We took almost no damage.
Ready to do the guild's bidding.
Marcus Wolfhard is so brave. What a hero.
Well done, comrades.
I will say, I feel like we're doing really well on our rate of XP gain.
A trusty comrade for now.
What do these skills do? These are not the normal yellow line skills. I gotta remember that. Leadership aura size up is pretty unimpressive. This is reload time reduction for towers in siege battles. That's a really narrow use. And honestly, towers don't play that big of a part in siege battles. Okay, this is great though. And this is run speed for all missile units. Let's definitely take range. Range is super valuable.
Trophy for the Hunts Marshal.
And there really aren't that many ways to get range bonuses. Alright, so in order to get into the next box, we have to spend 4 points in this box, then take evasion, then we can get into the really cool spells. So do we want Flesh to Stone? I'm going to be honest with you, I do not think that this spell is great. The Shield of Thorns, frequently does the thing you need this to do. I guess this is cheaper. Shield of Thorns is 8, while this is only 7. But I might instead take another level of one of these two. Earthblood is really a lot of healing when you overcast it.
Marcus Wolfhart.
Okay, we no longer have any scouting, unfortunately, but we'll scout with our faces. Just the whole army, get out here and scout.
Don't be done.
Okay, they've done a little tiny bit of recruiting.
Wolfhart.
Nothing we have to be afraid of.
Engage targets.
This battle's going to be pretty trivial, but there's enough red in that bar that I'm afraid we'll lose melee units if we auto-resolve it. So let's just go ahead and knock this out real quick. Fortunately, our archers are almost back at full strength, which means we should be able to burn through the enemy targets real quickly here. Oh, our whole army has Vanguard deployment now, right? So we can we can just start right up on top of them. That's actually really cool. That's going to lose some of its luster once we have artillery units again, and it becomes beneficial to us to play as far back as possible. But for right now, let's take advantage. Actually, is it even beneficial for us to start right up on them? I don't know. I'm going to do it anyway, because it's fun.
Take aim. Spearman.
This sort of makes every battle an ambush battle, which definitely has its uses. I don't know. All the characters just kind of go, yeah, in a big party in the middle. We have our sort of like our fellowship here. Okay, they have bloated corpses, I believe, or a bloated corpse. They have a bloated corpse. Okay, that guy's got to be a pretty high priority. I might even direct all our melee troops away from him for a moment. So let's see. They have a Morngul Haunter. I'm going to even put one more person on the bloated corpse. I really want that dealt with. You two stay back, I guess, for the moment. The rest of our units can run forward to engage. These guys can just run up to become flankers. And what else is important here? I guess, given that this dude's kind of a little bit dangerous, we could open up with a snipe. Should probably move the dwarf over. I should have thought about this. Him being a little bit more central for ballistics calibration is probably a good idea. We have you three already targeting, so you can just all focus on the Morngul, and actually, he's also getting this. It'd be really cool if he did not get into melee with us. I'm gonna be optimistic here. We're gonna hope that we're just gonna kill him before he gets to do anything. And you know what? Our position's fine. Let's just do this. You guys get a buff to your damage. You guys get to, yeah, do some damage to the depth guard. Those are like the only good melee unit in this battle. Zombie pirate deckhands are some of the worst units in the entire game. We really don't have to worry about them. Let's make sure that guy gets blown up before anybody else moves forward over here. Okay. Like I was saying before, really doesn't take that much. You'll have to focus on that. Wow. He's dead already. not what I was expecting. I guess we don't need to be pausing. Things are going just fine. Focus on their lord? Yeah, we should have our paladin go fight Depth Guard. Sorry, not the wizard. Everybody who's not the wizard. Nope, somehow I managed to select instead of unselecting. I guess maybe just like a big buff makes sense. Alright, get in there and flank. When their lord dies, of course, we're going to see them take that big morale penalty, and the army's going to fall apart pretty much immediately. Yep, you can see all of these bars emptying. The Depth Guard are the only enemies who are doing any real damage. I'm going to try pulling these guys back out of the fight, having them just focus in on the paladin, who is a better fighter and will take less damage. And then we'll fight them here, or we'll shoot them as we withdraw. Boy, that's not working at all. The paladin did not stay in contact. Aw, and he's not going to get to catch up to kill any of them either. Well, that's a shame. But yeah, I expect to see them do the same thing in their final settlement. They're going to hire a new guy, get like a turn of recruitment off, then we're going to crush them there. And then we just have a whole province here with trade goods in every single settlement, and unfortunately, kind of an awkward, hard to defend shape. It's really long and narrow, so attacks that happen at one end will not really be reinforceable from the other end. Yeah, just occupy. We could... No, just occupy. We don't want to tear up our territory any more than we absolutely have to, as we're taking it over. Oh right, Falling Gates isn't even part of that province. It is its own little thing. Well... probably this is still right. Like economic structures. The building that's already here is public order, and I think we can probably leave it that way for the moment.
Huntsman of the Empire.
Alright, do we want to get any more of this stuff? I'm not so wild about that one. Yep, this is good. That's actually really good. Marcus seems like a really powerful character. I guess, actually, there's no point in these guys being at Grey Rock anymore. Except that they're helping to defend it in case enemies show up. We could just build a garrison structure here, I guess. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
The wild makes warriors. Quicken your stride.
I will have these guys march out for the capital. This gives us a much better ability to support in case we get attacked from the north or the south, and if a rebellion army were to spawn, they would spawn outside of the capital, since we now own that. Alright, let's play another turn or two, but I think this has been tremendously productive. If we can get our Necromancer to get us another trade partner or two, this is going to be just like all upside. Okay, we're not going to bother fighting this. We will definitely lose here. It's too many Sauruses, man. That should not change our income too much. Get all of our trade contracts back as we're losing the income buildings. They're going to go do the same thing to Chotek, which will be annoying in the same way. And then, maybe by the time they've done that, we'll have proper economy infrastructure up here. Relocating was a very good idea. Very good idea. I'm not actually sure how we're gonna get to that other settlement. We might have to we might actually have to sail. Wonder if the lizard men are going to go to war with the blue vipers.
By the silver hammer, yes.
Your warriors range deep into hostile lands. Bad stuff's happening. We could gain 5 leadership on all our armies for a very significant cost. Yeah, I don't really want to... You definitely get negative events sometimes after picking this. I'm going to go ahead and just pay it off. Let's just pay to alleviate the risk.
My arrow flies true.
Oh, there's a little... Okay, there's a little bridge over here.
No time to waste.
Yeah, I guess just get in there.
Calls.
We're gonna have to wait until next turn to actually attack. They haven't even built an army yet. I guess they're probably really low on money. I think it's worth heading over toward the edge of the map. Probably not. Let's just sail around the coast. Alright, show me somebody with deep pockets and an affinity for trade. The followers of Nagash, I believe, are not super well regarded by a lot of the other peoples of the world. Let's see, they're at war with Skaven and, honestly, they're at war with Khemri as well, and some dwarves. Let's not bother with them. We don't need to be their friend.
Okay, garrison duties.
Is this worth an upgrade? 50% more tradable goods and also 1 public order. Probably not. I mean, at that price, we should probably save our money a little bit. Well, we're not going to be able to upgrade here. What are we saving the money for, I guess is the question. Oh, we are going to want to upgrade this building right away. That's going to be fairly expensive. Yeah. I think we did a really good job of working our hostility meter this time. We managed to use it to get a couple of shipments of troops real close together, and we aren't really suffering too many penalties from the buffs that our enemies are receiving or anything. The Vampire Coast, they're very poorly positioned to take advantage of the stats that hostility gives. I don't like to see this thing. We don't want to see we don't want those high elf nations to all like confederate up together, because that lowers the number of trade contracts we have. Their heroes are just going to track us over here so that they can watch the end with their own eyes. Man, the Tomb Kings have some really cool units. It might even be a good idea to get like a better diplomatic picture of everything going on in this desert before we go taking sides. I don't know. Usually you can do pretty well by just allying with the Khemri. They're a big, terrifying force, and they're pretty friendly to players, actually. Okay. Let's get those proper walls established. Yeah, wow, we just barely have enough money.
Headway.
Send you around over here. I really thought there were more settlements along the coast. Okay, well, someday he'll meet somebody.
Okay, seek, destroy, hunt them down.
At this point, I think we can just take the auto-resolve, because our troops are...
Done for. Spoils for the Empire.
That's a fairly valuable... No, we'll just occupy it.
Respect is earned.
I wanna get healing right away. Oh, would you look at that? They managed to find another settlement. Okay, I thought we were gonna be done here. That's pretty good armor. He probably doesn't need to be the one wearing it, but we'll worry about it later. And we have secured control of this entire province. So, commandment. We're actually doing just fine on public order. I mean, you know how I feel about the growth thing. The only commandments that give money are tax rate plus 5%, which is not really worth spending the slot on, or the thing that gives growth. So I think we're gonna stick with this. For the growth, and because there is no better option. We don't really need this. We don't really need to take any of the other redline stuff. We're nowhere near having veteran troops. Hold the line is like 5 melee defense and 4 leadership is actually, those are both pretty significant values for those stats. Just a constant buff to all of our... Well, it's only 2 units within 40 meters of him, though. The way we use him is more of a flanking troop. This is not going to affect people very often. Maybe we'd be better off just taking yellow line stuff for him, just making him better at his job. So this short yellow line gives him... Okay, yeah, just a lot of good shooting people buffs. Replaces focus shot with executioner, which is just, yeah, the same thing, but better. And his other yellow line is pretty normal stats, looks like. He gets his own net, which is pretty cool. I guess for right... Those net spells are really powerful. These stat points are a lot less good than the ones in the yellow line, though. Or the line above that. Oh wow, everybody leveled up. I think we could afford to take this. We should definitely make more money.
The rumors say that this one is rotten.
Ammo up, move speed up, or we could start working on her melee ability. We do use her to melee. This is actually a really good skill point. That's a lot of value.
Time will tell on this one.
And then more of this.
Loyal or not, they'd better fight.
Evasion itself is not a very good skill, but man, we want to keep moving up that line. Okay. There we go. Let's play out one more sequence of enemy turns, and then we can stop for the day. So we're about to reset our hostility level. This is actually probably a pretty good time for that.
But be wary of what you say.
What do you guys want now? A military alliance? Absolutely not. So there are 2 different kinds of alliances in the game. You can get a defensive alliance or a military alliance with another player. A defensive alliance means that whenever one of you gets declared on, whenever someone declares war on either one of you, the other one is immediately called into the war. That's a pretty useful thing to have with people. A military alliance means that whenever either one of you gets declared on or declares war on anyone, the other player is bound to join in. You do not want to take a lot of military alliances with the AI, because they will use your combined strength to make some real stupid decisions and get you, like, drag you into wars all over the place that you really don't want to be a part of. In particular, the AI loves to backstab people who thought they were people who it was trying to portray itself as a friend to, and once it considers itself to have your army at its disposal, it will use you to try to backstab your friends over and over again. Oh hey, the elves put the Sword of Cain down. You don't see that very often. Alright, well I think this is... Okay, we finished our tech. Yeah, this is a pretty good place to stop. This was a productive episode. That is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, Monday, probably, is when the next one will be, to see us finish off the Drowned, and then finally turn our eyes back towards Scale. And we'll see you then.